So today I received my package. It's the Intel Battlemage GPU, the ASRock B580 Challenger. I'm actually very excited to test this out. Now a short story before I benchmark the GPU. As of recording, we don't have a B580 yet in Malaysia. However, I found out that they are selling a B580 in Singapore, the ASRock version that I bought. And I actually found it through a friend's Instagram story. So I decided to DM him and ask him to be my personal shopper. And surprisingly enough, he accepted. He even volunteered to pay for the shipping fee in order for me to test the GPU. Now I still have to pay for the GPU itself obviously, but the fact that he was willing to go through all of this just to get me a new GPU is very wholesome. I thank you very much, Jonathan. Back to benchmarking, I am pairing the GPU with my Ryzen 5 5600G. Now first off, I am testing the GPU in Cyberpunk 2077 with RTX on all max settings. I am getting around 50 FPS, but on busy areas it will drop to 45 FPS. Please take note that this is in 1080p resolution, and the FPS will be lower if we climb up to 1440p. Next, I am testing the GPU with Dragon Age Veilguard. I put everything on max settings with RTX on. The GPU was hovering around 46 FPS, and for most of the scenes it stayed the same. So I recommend dropping the settings a little bit lower to get better FPS. Now for the rest of the benchmark, Baldur's Gate 3 we were getting a consistent 90 FPS on max settings. Meanwhile for GTA 5 on max settings we were getting 113 FPS. And lastly for Call of Duty Black Ops 6 on max settings we were getting 86 FPS. One problem that I had with the GPU was I was facing driver issues. When I tried to open Call of Duty Black Ops 6, it suddenly crashed me out of the game. I tried to open the game 3 times before deciding to search the internet on how to solve the problem, and I found out that some players were having driver issues as well. So I decided to delay the benchmark by a day to wait for them to update the drivers, and thankfully I was able to open Call of Duty Black Ops 6 normally after updating the drivers. As a side note, I do understand that this is normal for a GPU that has just been released. But in the future, I do hope that Intel will learn from this and release a proper stable driver before releasing their products. Another thing that bothers me is the lack of availability of the GPU in the Southeast Asian market. Actually, this is happening all over the world as well. I am just lucky that I got this GPU. If it weren't for that, I would have to wait for months before getting my hands on one. I actually had to buy the GPU on a high price just because it is very limited in this region. I bought it for 1,800 ringgit, which is way higher than a brand new RTX 4060. I am showing you the currency exchange as a comparison with other Southeast Asian countries. At the same price, I can actually get an RTX 4060 for 100 ringgit cheaper, and I am getting better performance out of it. And if you look here, the price that I bought the GPU is higher than most of the used GPU with similar or better performance in my place. At the end of the day, I think the GPU is great value for money. However, I don't see the point of buying the GPU now, especially with the limited availability and a steep price. If I were you, I would wait a few more months so that third-party sellers will have more stocks and are willing to sell at lower price. All in all, we are starting to enter an era where GPU makers are focusing on the affordable segment. More competition just means better deals for us consumers. And that is all for this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment if you have any questions. Goodbye.